One of my favorite things to make, especially when I know the family's coming over, is a big pot of Italian beef. And we've lived in the Chicago area for almost 30 years. My husband grew up here. So Italian beef is kind of in the core of who we are. And I have perfected my own at-home recipe. Even though we have our favorite joints that we love going to, making it at home sometimes, a lot of times, is a lot more reasonable when we're feeding a large crowd and tastes just as good. So come on, I'm going to show you how I do. So the ingredients for Italian beef are really simple. I use about 4 pounds of a top round roast, some beef broth, a whole seasoning blend, water, and that's pretty much it. And I start by cutting the beef into 4 pieces, just because it's easier to brown when it's in smaller sections. Now, your beef might have a big fat cap here. I do try and see how thick that is. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so we're gonna head over to the stove and get to browning. So my pan is heated and I'm going to put in about 3 tablespoons. This is a 1.5 tablespoon measure. And I'm going to heat up some vegetable oil, actually canola oil I've used. And once that's heated, we are going to pop in our beef real quick. Okay, so we're going to start browning the beef. Kind of like a little puzzle. Fit them in here. So flip the beef and you'll see we have a really nice sear. And we're just going to continue browning it. Okay, we're going to turn this one more time just to get any remaining red spots. Okay, so we have finished browning the meat over here, and the next thing we're going to do is toast some fennel seeds right at the bottom. This is going to add so much nutty flavor, and we're going to scrape up some of that fond at the bottom. So we're literally in here for just a few minutes. We're going to pull them out and mix them with all the other spices, but we just wanted to release their flavor and have them just heated a little bit to release a lot of flavor right into the oil. Okay, so toasted fennel seeds. We have our toasted fennel seeds right here, and to that, we're going to make our spice blend. And I don't know if you can see here, lots of spices. We have our bowl of fennel seeds. To that, we're going to add a tablespoon each of celery salt, okay, we're going to deglaze the pan with a quart of beef broth. We'll take our spatula and scrape up all those brown bits off the bottom. That's just going to add a whole bunch of flavor. Okay, so we're going to let that come to a simmer, and then to that, we're going to add a quart and a half of water. Okay, that's pretty good. A quart and a half. And then about a tablespoon of base and goes in. This is going to be the base for the Italian beef. Add back in our browned beef and submerge it to get popped into the oven after we put on a very important step right on top. It's not the lid. Instead of putting a lid directly on the Dutch oven for the Italian beef, we are going to do something a little different. We're using something called a cartouche, and it's a French word meaning lid, is my understanding. And all it is a piece of parchment paper. So we'll take our pan and literally a Sharpie and trace around the bottom of the pan. You also can trace around the lid if you want and just cut in a little narrower. Oops. But we're essentially just going to cut a circle all the way around. To make a paper lid. And what this is going to do is keep it covered, but it's also going to release a little bit of steam on the outside and keep all those flavors in there. And it sits directly right on top of the juices. So you'll see it'll just fit right inside the pan. Okay, I kind of blew it. I didn't show a picture or video of me eating this great sandwich, but make it. You're really going to love it. Classic Chicago style Italian beef.